Okay, we're going to dive a little deeper into this whole question of truth, because we're not going to be able to do anything that's helpful if it's not grounded in what is true. And truth, as we've said, is a quality that arises in the relationship between the cognitive maps, the mental maps, the paradigms by which we make sense of things, and what is real. We look at our cognitive map and we test it against what's actually arising, and then we get certain data that says this fits, oh no, it doesn't fit. And the data then informs the formation of our map that helps us understand. So there's this interplay between the math and the myth, the numbers and the narrative. We're going to hold those together. And out of that understanding of the relationship between what is and what it means to us, we discover a way of understanding reality. We get our heads around it. It begins to make sense to us. And that allows us to connect with what is real. My youngest son, Dan, has learning delays. And so when there were a number of things that he was trying to learn as a kid, and it took a lot more repetitions for him than it did for his two older sibs. And he would say about himself, he said, I know I'm going to get it. I'm just going to take more times practicing. So he's very much aware that it took more work for him. But I remember particularly when he was learning to read, that it seemed exasperating because he knew the words, or he knew the letters rather. He knew the alphabet. He could say the alphabet. He knew he could see the letter and know which letter it was. He could say the name of the letter. He could say the sound of the letter, and he could say the sounds of the letters together as we were looking. And one day we were working on the word stop, and stop is, and T is T, and O is O, and then P is P. Stop. Oh, he said, and suddenly he got it. It's like, so these letters mean stop. Yes. Oh, we were so excited. The next day we had some errand that we were running, and we're driving he's in the car with me, and he says, look, there's one. It's like, what are you talking about? Stop. S-T-O-P. He was looking at a stop sign. That stop sign had not existed for him until he knew there was something. He saw a red octagon. He didn't know it was an octagon, but he saw that. But he didn't realize that what was on it was stop, and that meant you were supposed to stop. And then we get to the next corner. Oh, there's another one. And all the way to and from wherever it was we were going, he was seeing stop signs that some part of him knew they had always been there. They just had not put them up overnight, but they had not existed for him because he did not yet have a cognitive map that allowed him to see that. So as we develop new paradigms, new understandings, new ways of making meaning, more and more of reality is revealed to us, and so we have access to more and more truth. The way that we grow in our understanding does in some part depend upon getting more and better data. But as Thomas Kuhn in his book, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions back in the 60s pointed out to us quite vividly and persuasively, is that the growth in science doesn't happen because we get more data. It happens because we develop a new way of thinking about things that explains it better. We have a better interpretive frame by which to make sense of reality and thus to know what is true. So we need good data. We don't have good data. We're not going to be able to look at our maps and say, oh, that doesn't work. What we're trying to do is see where it is that our understandings of what is don't match the reality that's portrayed in the data. And then we can say, oh, we need to work on this one. This way of thinking doesn't really fit. And so we're going to talk about cognitive distortions a bit later in this series. But the point right now is that we both need data and we need the paradigm. We need both the math and the myth, both the numbers and the narrative, and we need to hold those into a tension that helps us create a map that allows us to see what is real and thus connects us with what is true. Because if it's not true, It's not helpful.